Good Monday morning, mamas. I'm so excited to be back this Monday with a Monday Mom Minute. We've been on break for a bit. So I'm Heather Sullivan with Leila Photography, serving mamas in the greater Waco area as a maternity, newborn, and childhood photographer, but also exploring local resources for you guys through the Monday Mom Minute. And I'm so excited this morning to have Dr. Rachel Spicer with me today. And we're going to explore some of those great resources.
Yes.
So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And so, Dr. Spicer, why don't you just tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and yeah.
So we are a husband and wife chiropractic clinic.
Yeah.
It's called Redeemed Chiropractic. So there's kind of a cool story behind how we developed our practice. We serve primarily prenatal, pediatric, women's health, and then just really overall wellness.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And then I know, let's talk a little bit, because I know I've been following you for a while on Instagram, and that's a really great place because you are putting out some great content and information for moms just in general. But let's talk a little bit about prenatal care. Like, what does that look like as a chiropractor?
For sure. So prenatal care is just a fancy word of when you're pregnant, and so there is a lot of good benefits of chiropractic care before baby comes.
Okay.
So really good benefits is our body is changing all the time when we're pregnant.
Definitely.
So it's never too early to start. I have a lot of mamas that are like, well, I'm only 9 weeks, but that's the perfect time to start preparing your body.
Right.
So a lot of times there's a really cool picture out there that shows even your grandma's health has a factor in then your mom's health, and then even their grandchildren's health.
Wow.
So it's never too early to start chiropractic care. So what we do with chiropractic care when you're pregnant is we check your spinal health. We see how your alignment is functioning and how your nervous system is functioning, which is really the master controller of your entire body. So we primarily focus on your hip alignment. Just because your uterus is housed within your hip alignment. So we make sure everything's nice and even. And then we check a lot of intrauterine constraints. Okay. So that's going to be if you're experiencing any type of like round ligament pain, any hip flexor pain. So that's going to be things on the front side. So when mamas are like, oh my gosh, there's just so much pressure down here. Right. Well, we want to help decrease a lot of that pressure. Okay. So we check that, we check their pubic bone, and then on the backside we check their glute tightness. And so that's going to be when moms are like, wow, I'm having a lot of like sharp shooting pain down my leg. Okay. That's also can be known as sciatica. Right. And so that can be because of baby position, or that can be because of the hip alignment and the muscle tightness. So we focus a lot in the hip area, but we do address full spine. Right. Yes. So that can not only help you through your pregnancy be more comfortable and your body not experience maybe the pain that it does get related and associated with pregnancy, but then also affects delivery and healthy delivery. That's wonderful. Yes. That's awesome. Yeah. I know I see you a lot. It's kind of funny just coming from someone who didn't have the history, knowing really what a chiropractor does, I guess, and seeing you work with teeny tiny babies. Yes. And so like, tell us a little bit more about your pediatric, what that looks like, and why do we work on little bitty kids? Why would you bring me your baby? Right. So number one is basically up until the age of 2 is really when your child is actually developing the most neurologically. Okay. So think like they're born and then all of a sudden they learn how to roll. They learn how to pick up their head. They learn how to crawl. They learn how to walk. They learn how to eat by themselves and drink by themselves. Right. And so all those things are just incredible. But the way that happens is because your brain is telling your body what to do. Right. And so as a pediatric chiropractor, we're addressing their nervous system function. And so we want to make sure that all of the nerves coming out of their spine can actually talk to those organs properly. Right. And so with a little baby, that was just born, think they were they were like in this little womb for 9 months. They didn't have much room. And so they're all curled up. And then all of a sudden they come out of the canal and boom, they're in this world. And they're like,
it's a rude awakening.
What do I do? It was nice and warm and cozy in there.
Right.
So it's really important to get your baby checked even as soon as possible after birth, just because we want to make sure that there's no misalignments in their spine so that they can fully function at their best. So there is a lot of benefits of chiropractic care with babies, such as, you know, they come out and they're already like latching on mama. Well, what if the breastfeeding journey isn't going well? There's a lot of different resources, you know, with like consultants to help with that, but also making sure that their mouth is able to move properly. You know, constipation issues. There's reflux issues, sleep disturbances. Of course, you have to know that a newborn's going to wake up. Pretty frequent to feed. But there's just, I could go on and on about why people are bringing their kids to a chiropractor. But when they're first born, most importantly, we just want to make sure that their brain can talk to their body properly.
Yeah. And I think, you know, like I know we were at some event and you made that comment about poop. And, you know, it's funny, but as moms, you know, like there's conversations we never thought we would have. And then all of a sudden now we're really worried about that. And so I thought that was interesting that was something that you could be a resource for. And so so I'm assuming that would go up into toddler, preschool, like even. And so that's something that even chiropractic care could address.
Definitely. So I do see a lot with constipation, especially in little ones, just because they were so used to getting everything from mama, and then they come out to this world, and a lot of the nerves that are in their lower back region, we call, and in their sacrum region, which is around their pelvis. So we do a really, really light, gentle adjustment. So baby adjustments look very different from adult adjustments. It's a very light touch, and so it's just a little bit of vibration. They don't need much. And so by addressing the spinal alignment down there, then those nerves can talk to their digestive organs. And so that is what's going to help a lot with digestion issues. We also work a little bit on their tummy as well. Just to help get things moving. And
those little tummies can definitely, those early weeks and months can definitely, those tummy issues can be difficult and difficult for mom, because then baby's upset and there's so much going on, and that's and then sleeplessness and all those things. So those are hard for mom. And so that's wonderful. Well, I know you just talked about how you just love to empower women. And so share with us just a little bit about yourself, and then let's delve into your own mom journey. Okay.
So another goal of mine is just to empower women to be a resource and a positive light in their journey through motherhood. And so the ways I do that in the community is I'm not necessarily, you know, hosting my own events for our practice, but I do go to a lot of the events around the Waco community. Because thankfully there's a lot of mom events. And so I just post kind of once a week or so, like, hey, I'm going to be here. Let's see each other outside of the office, because I do want to build that relationship with my patients. Like, I do see them as friendships as well, and so I love getting to know them outside of my practice. So those are ways that I definitely like to empower women, just to know, like, hey, you're not alone in this journey, and it can be super isolating, especially at the beginning, just because you're like, oh, I'm scared to get out. How do I do this? So I just like to empower people, like, hey, you're not alone. There are other women that are going through this with you.
I love, that's how we met, I think, through a connection, a community event. And I love that, because now I can share what you do with moms. Tell us a little bit about your own mom journey, because you have a cute little one.
Well, thank you. So it's kind of funny, and I'm like, how do I wrap this up in like a minute? My motherhood journey has actually been really difficult. It, you know, in my head, I'm like, oh, it's going to be great, and he's going to be super happy and thriving, and we're just going to cuddle all day. And I had this picture built up in my mind, and it was kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that is why I have this like huge burning passion to be there for other moms. Just because I want them to know, like, hey, other people are also struggling, and it's okay. And so a little bit like my journey in motherhood is, I had a pregnancy. It was great. He was healthy. I was healthy. Had a little bit of sickness. But my birth in general was actually the opposite of what I thought it would be again.
Right. Okay.
I'm like, I'm going to be unmedicated and no epidural and, labor for a little bit. And he's going to come out. It's going to be great. And so it was actually a very long, like 27-hour labor. Water broke before I was in actual labor. Wow. So it just made the experience really long. Yeah. And then it ended up having to be medicated, but he did eventually come out.
Right.
And then we just struggled a lot with him, like being fussy, and had a lot of breastfeeding issues where I had to then reach out to other resources. So I just describe everything as like very humbling.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That's it. That's probably the perfect word for motherhood in general. Like, I just know even 16 years down the road, humbling is a great word.
Yes.
Because it really is. And I think a lot of times we as moms do have expectations. Mm-hmm. We have all these expectations in our heads. And so then when it doesn't meet those expectations, we feel like we failed or that there's, we didn't measure up. And I think that's the other important thing about having amazing resources in our community is because then other people have the same story. A mom, I know a lot of moms struggle if they don't feel that instant just bond. Mm-hmm. And then if there's fussiness and all these things that can just create emotional exhaustion. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of are on this spiral, and it feels I think the word you used earlier is perfect because it feels isolating.
Yes.
You feel like, wow, I'm messing this whole thing up, and I'm just here by myself.
Yes.
And that's not true because there's amazing moms out there, and amazing resources for moms, and we can walk through that journey together. And I love that. So how old is he now?
So now he's almost 11 months. Aww. So he's absolutely precious. Love him so much. But ultimately, like looking back on just my whole motherhood journey so far, which is still very short.
Yeah.
I just thank God for all of the ups and downs that we did experience, because our practice, Redeemed Chiropractic, would not be a thing.
Yeah.
We would still be doing something else.
Yeah.
So it was ultimately in our whole journey to get to where we are, though. So I will touch a little bit just kind of on our practice with the reason we even chose Redeemed is because it kind of means like a new life or to be restored. And so we want to reach people to help bring new life. Like your life isn't over, and you don't have to just be okay with how you feel. And so we want to be able to be the light in someone's life and touch them, emotionally, physically, chemically, environmentally, spiritually, to ultimately show them like, here is a new life. You can be restored.
That's wonderful. So tell us, Dr. Spicer, just tell us a little bit about how we can find you, what's your Instagram handle, all those things.
So our Facebook is just Redeemed Chiropractic.
Okay.
And then our Instagram is also Redeemed Chiropractic.
So easy. We can easily remember this, guys, but also post it.
Yes. And please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and then on both of those platforms, our website is posted there. And And again, it's just Redeemed Chiropractic.
Yeah, and that's easy. So that's wonderful. It's wonderful you got your name, because that makes it so simple. And I would just share, definitely you can cyber stalk for a while, because there's a lot of great, you're putting out great content. And I think if someone's maybe like, I'm a little unsure, or I don't know, they can follow you, they can witness what you're doing. And I know that you're being you're providing educational resources, and that might be something that you want to check out. And then after a while, you'll be comfortable and know that you definitely want to reach out in person to Dr. Spicer. So anyway, welcome. Yes. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes,
we appreciate it so much. And definitely go follow Redeemed Chiropractic on Instagram or Facebook, and check them out. All right, guys, thanks so much for being with us today. And we just have the best guests on the Monday Mom Minute series. And so definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the like button on Instagram. We would love for you to follow and be here with us for the next Monday Mom Minute.